Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am doing a book review, and the book I am going to be reviewing is Soundless by Rachelle Mead, and I took it to the library this morning. Should have waited until after this video, but someone else was waiting for it, so I thought I should take it back as soon as I wrote down the review. So here's a cover, and yeah, I sat in a coffee shop this morning and wrote out the review. So hopefully this review is concise because I wrote it all down, so there's no reason that I should be forgetting what I'm going to say. Now, Soundless by Rachelle Mead is a newer book, and it is about Faye. And she grew up in this village at the very top of a mountain, and her village is isolated because the pathways from the top of the mountain down to the cities were closed off during an avalanche, and they weren't able to move all the boulders since it was a huge avalanche and completely covered, so they were isolated there. But luckily they set up an agreement where they would send material that they have mined down a zip line. In return, they would receive food. But everyone in this village is deaf. No one knows why everyone went deaf. It happened generations ago. People started losing their hearing, and now everyone there who was born, everyone is just deaf. But recently, people have been starting to go blind, and no one is sure why. They just go blind. So since people are going blind, the mining has been going down. And since they aren't able to send as many materials down the zip line, they haven't been receiving as much food. And they received a note in with their food threatening them that they will have less and less food. Since they are all deaf, the way that they pass information on, they sign, but they also write everything down. So she does calligraphy, and her sister does that too. And there's a bunch of apprentices that will observe a certain part of the town and then write what they observed, and then they post it in the town square so everyone can read what is happening in the town. So it's kind of like a newspaper. So there is a class system in this village, and apprentices are higher up. So she's well off. She did come from a mining family, but since she is very skilled in her art, she was able to become an apprentice, and her sister is an apprentice too. But her sister is losing her vision, which isn't really a surprise. You find out in like the first sentence. So one night Faye gets her hearing back, and she wakes up to like a really loud noise, and it's super overwhelming to her to hear all these things that she doesn't really understand. She doesn't really know. It's very bizarre for her, and it's kind of cool reading about her hearing coming back. So there's another character, Li Wei, and he is a miner, and Faye likes him, but they're not really supposed to be together because apprentices can't really marry minors, so she is set up with another apprentice, but she really likes Li Wei, and they grew up together. They're friends. They were friends. Now they don't really talk much, but they set off on an adventure, and she keeps her hearing secret from everyone but him, and she uses it as an advantage to descend the mountain so they can hear rocks falling. So she uses that to her advantage, and they set off on a journey to find the line keeper, which is what they call whoever is on the other end of the zip line, the line keeper. They are going to find him to tell him that people are going blind, and to seek his help and to understand what's going on. But things are not as they seem, and it turns into quite an adventure. So that's what it's about. Now, this story is a fantasy that is described as it being steeped in Chinese folklore. I have heard that people don't really think there's that much Chinese folklore in it, but there are some things in the book that do have that culture. Some people wanted more, but it is a very short book, and the story just needs to fit in the very short amount of pages that there was. I did like the characters. They were interesting. I liked them. They didn't bug me at all. Now, Faye kind of did seem too perfect at points, but that didn't take away from the story. I still liked the story. I still liked her character. So it's not really much of a complaint. It's just in some parts she seems like she's too perfect. She's very smart and strong-willed. Now, about the plot, since it is a very small book and it has its description is really good and it had a lot of potential, but since it's so small, the author had to put everything into this little book, and if she just made it a bit longer, people would have still read it and it might have flowed better. I felt like the slower parts were very drawn out and had more pages to them, and then the exciting part was condensed at the end, and it had to be wrapped up very quickly. And if she just took more time describing those exciting parts and those interesting parts in more depth and detail and put more into it and gave them more pages, it might have wrapped up better. If you read the description and it sounds intriguing to you, I would say pick it up and give it a go. Even though it's pretty mixed reviews, I quite enjoyed it. It was fun, it was a quick read. If you're concerned about the mixed reviews for this book, I would definitely just recommend picking it up from the library like I did, just to give it a shot, because you never know if you're going to like a book until you start reading it. And if you've read the book, let me know what your thoughts are on it. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, just let me know in the comments below. Bye!